Hey there, before beginning this video, I'm going to do a short advertisement for myself. So Zeeebo's channel membership has been officially launched, as people actually ask me whether I have some sort of membership feature or subscription feature so that they can show their support and appreciation for this channel. So I really appreciate it and I want to value add to all my members. So I split up the different perks into 3 different tiers. We have your Zip Fam, Zip Super Fan, as well as Zip Big Daddy. So for the Zip Fam, we get custom emojis that you guys can use for the comment section as well as live streams. And these emojis, they are custom drawn as I commission artists to draw all these. There's a lot more in reserves, and as we get more members, I'm gonna add in more emojis in this section. All the members in all tiers will get all access to all the live streams on the channel moving forward. So that's that for the Zip Fam tier. We have the Zip Super Fan. So on top of the Zip Fam perks, right, Zip Super Fan members will also get exclusive contents, which I plan to release at least twice a month, right, which talks about exclusive meta reviews, builds, secret strats, as well as all the nitty-gritty stuff that you guys might want to know if you're more hardcore in AFK journey. So lastly, we have the Zip Big Daddy. So on top of all the previous perks, the members in this tier can actually go into a one-to-one Discord call session with me just to have a chat, do a simple account review, or just discuss arena strats in general. So do take a look at the Zeeebo membership and then support the channel if you want to show your appreciation, as well as if you have the financial capabilities. Every bit of support is greatly appreciated. And with that, let us start today's video. Let's go. Hey there and welcome to this EX weapon guide. So in today's EX weapon guide, we're going to provide a comprehensive guide talking about what are the different things that you need to know about EX weapon per se. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the basics of EX weapon, what are the mini caveats that you guys want to know, some tips and tricks that you guys can abuse in terms of upgrading your EX weapon, as well as, you know, some tips and tricks for the free-to-play players per se. I'm also going to offer my EX weapon upgrade priority, where I talk about what are the units you want to focus your essence on to push their EX weapons to the highest level. And then I'm going to offer another tier list to talk about what are the EX weapons you want to bring to EX 15 or even EX 20 or 25 for the heavy spenders or the whales per se. So without further ado, let's start with the basics of the EX weapon. So for the EX weapon per se, right, the skill itself unlocks when you get your unit to Mythic Plus. So over here, the first line of SES EX weapon will unlock when you get this unit to Mythic Plus. And if you upgrade the EX weapon to EX weapon level 5, I'm going to go into this side, right? You will unlock the level 2 skill, right, which is the second line. And if you upgrade the EX weapon further to plus 10, you get the third line of skill. And then if you push it further to plus 15, you get the fourth line of skill. However, due to how expensive it is to upgrade the EX weapon from 11 to 15, I would recommend the free-to-play players to do it because of how limited temporal essence is within the game and you having a limited source of income. So it's actually better for you to just upgrade most of your units to plus 10 for the free-to-play players or the low spenders because it's more cost efficient that way. That way you will have more units that are stronger in general, which allows you to tackle different contents more easily rather than having a super powerful unit with EX15. However, there are certain situations you want to push the units to EX15, which I'll talk about later in the EX15 prioritization part of the video. So stay tuned for that. And then that's for the free-to-play side, how you want to manage your essence. The other thing that you guys might want to take note of is upgrading the weapon to EX8. So for this case, right, certain EX weapon actually provides the haste stats, as you guys can see. So this haste stats is only added to EX plus 8. So in situations where you don't actually use the unit a lot, or the unit is not your main priority, like you use the units for very specific contents, upgrading the EX weapon to plus 8 is more than enough because this is where the last level of haste stats is added. So increasing, for example, Vala's EX weapon to EX plus 9, I won't get the haste stats, so I upgrade it to plus 8 for Vala. The other unit which often gets this treatment is Kruger. So Kruger also gets the haste stats all the way to plus 8. But for my case, because Kruger is very commonly used, so I just upgrade his EX weapon to plus 10 for the additional stats, and then I'm going to use him every day for my Dream Realm anyway. So that's for the upgrading side. Depending on whether or not you use the unit a lot, you can plan your upgrading path carefully and then upgrade to plus 8 or plus 10 based on your personal needs itself. So that's for the plus 8 plus 10 part. So that's for the caveat, the basics of EX weapon. Next, let's move on to the upgrading priority for the EX weapon itself. Okay, so moving to one of the most important questions that people ask me a lot, and the reason why this video came into being is the EX weapon priority. So due to how limited your resources are, sometimes you just can't get all the units up to EX weapon +5 or even +10, so you need to prioritize which unit comes first. So in this part of the video, I'm going to talk about the units that are of the highest priority, right? These units EX weapon are game changing, these units are very meta, you use this unit a lot and you want to get their EX weapon up to +10 or even +15 as soon as possible. Then we have the PvP centric tier. So these units EX skills are really impactful in the PvP meta. Some of these units are super duper powerful in the PvP side if you do get their EX weapon up. So if you're somebody who loves PvP, if you're somebody who loves arena and you enjoy playing arena more than the PvE side of things, then these units are the ones that you want to upgrade their EX weapon. We have the PvE side. So these are for people that are more into progression. In fact, some of these units are units which are, I'll say, very close to highest priority because PvE is a very big part of the game. So investing in these PvE centric units for the EX weapon can also be quite game changing as well. So that's for the PvE centric. We have the whale level. So for whale level, right, these are units which are game changing if you do have their EX weapon up, but they require quite a bit of investment, and if you're somebody who's not spending a lot, you did rather not have them. But if the whales have the capability to get there, these units are game breaking. They are insanely powerful in a lot of different contents, which I'll talk about later on. So next one, we have okay to have. So okay to have are basically, I would say, EX weapon which are decent, like they're not game changing, but you can invest in them because these units could be useful in certain game modes. This unit could be game changing in certain game modes. But they are not the highest priority compared to the highest priority units. So lastly, we have the don't torture yourself. So you guys probably know it by now. Don't torture yourself. Don't torture yourself, right? Don't put your resources into these units because you don't use them a lot. Okay, so we have this, and we have let's see who. Yeah, so for those of you guys who are familiar with my contents, right, usually this pool of units, they are your toilet bowl units because they are just not very good, and I'm not gonna explain too much as to why they are here because like I mentioned, I think in terms of priority, you want to upgrade units which you actually can use, or units which are decently good if you don't have a better choice. So in terms of the don't torture yourself category, these are units which are not meta. You don't see people using them, and it's really hard to fit them in any teams. So I don't think you want to upgrade their EX weapon. So I don't want to explain too much because these are units which generally don't see much use. Okay, actually Atrana actually is okay to have. I'll talk a little bit about her later on. But yeah, basically these are the units which are don't bother because they're not good. You don't use them a lot. You don't use them for anything, and that's why you don't bother to upgrade their EX weapon at all. Okay, so that's for the don't torture yourself. Next, we have the okay to have. So okay to have, I'll talk about them individually. So for Satrana's case, right, Satrana's EX weapon is decent in a very fixed scenario that is against heavy magic teams. So you guys go and figure out why you guys might want to use her. Then we have Cisia. So Cisia's case, right? Cisia is a decent content pusher, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys have her at least Mythic Plus. So it's okay to have her EX weapon for the additional boost of her summon, because you guys are using her to push for content. Even though I don't think she's very good, but I'm pretty sure most people will have her. So she's definitely okay to have to upgrade her EX weapon for more stats, as well as a little bit more boost on the summon itself. So next one, Antandra. Personally, I don't think Antandra is a top priority in terms of upgrade because Antandra functions pretty well with just having like a lower stats. You don't even need the EX weapon for the additional damage reduction. It's a good to have, it's okay to have, it's not a must. But the thing is, because she's not like a high priority target in terms of usage, so I won't put her in the high priority, neither would I put her in the PvP centric category, because you don't really need her to push PvE contents. It's good to have, but not a must. But the thing is, if you do upgrade her EX weapon, I think she's also quite decent in terms of protecting your unit. Okay, so the next unit that is okay to have is give me a moment, let me just find her. him or her, Lucius. Okay, so Lucius' EX weapon is actually insanely powerful in terms of debuffing the enemy at the start of the battle. I think the main reason why Lucius doesn't see a lot of use is because Lucius is a light bearer, right? So Graveborn being really powerful in arena, as well as Lucius' inability to deal with OD makes it such that this tank is not used a lot. But if you do decide to go in the light bearer faction, and if you do decide to invest in Lucius, his EX weapon is actually a pretty decent EX weapon. He's also a pretty decent tank. It's just that there are just way better tanks out there. So I don't recommend people pulling for him or using him. But if you do use him, his EX weapon upgrade is also okay to have. So next one, okay to have, Parisa. Same thing as Lucius. I think Parisa is pretty decent. She is not like all that powerful. And the same can be said for Rise. Basically, these units are units which are okay to have. So having them with the additional stats and the EX weapon skill makes them a little bit better. And they do have certain niches and certain contents where you can actually use them. So they are better than the don't torture yourself. And at the same time, their EX weapon boost is also decently good for the unit. So that's why it's okay to upgrade their EX weapon. So I guess that's that. Oh yes, Laika as well. Okay, so Laika, same thing, similar to the previous 3 unit. Good to have unit. Good EX weapon buff that gives her like I'll say a decent boost, but you don't have to actually focus on her too much. So maybe EX5 is good enough for Laika's case. Okay, so I guess that's it for the thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's for the okay to have. Next, I'm gonna talk about the whale level units. So, oh wait, there's one more unit, Brutus. Okay, so Brutus' ability, right? You guys might think that I'm joking with you guys in terms of Brutus being okay to have, because I think people, or rather I also put Brutus in the tolerable category, but Brutus actually has a very specific niche, and that is to survive for 5 seconds. And his EX weapon actually gives him the ability to life drain, which allows him to get back HP and then tank for a little bit longer. So there's actually a few very niche situations where you use Brutus to tank up. So having his EX weapon to regenerate HP to let him tank longer is also okay to have. So that's why Brutus is over here. Okay, so next one, let's talk about the whale level units, or rather whale level category, where the EX weapon is super impactful on these units, but these are probably more for the spenders. So we have Barrel, we have Dornell, and then we have let's put I'll put Tamasia there as well. Okay, let's talk about Barrel and Dornell first. So firstly, these units are the Celestial / Hippogene unit. These units have very impactful EX weapon skills. They are super useful if you use them for the different contents, and they are mega powerful in the late game. But like I mentioned, these units are expensive. So first of all, you need to spend enough resources to get this unit up. And then next, you need to pour in enough resources to upgrade the levels of the EX weapon. So therefore, it's a whale level unit. And they are not like highest priority if you're a free-to-play or light spender. But if you have the financial capability, right, then upgrading this unit to their maximum potential is insanely good, because they are very good late game units. So why is Tamasia there? Oh, I'm going to put Rowan there as well. So Tamasia, Rowan's case, I'll say their EX skill is really good as well, but it's just that in general, for Tamasia's case, you use her for Dream Realm boss to min-max your damage, so she's in that meta team. And then for Rowan's case, in very hard content in Trial of Abyss, right, in the later part of the game, he's going to be very impactful. But for the early game free-to-play or like your mid spenders, I don't think it's a big priority. It's for people that can push through Trial of Abyss really fast, and they want to push through that contents really fast as well. Rowan definitely does his job as a healer and energy cycling in Trial of Abyss, because I have tried the really higher levels of Trial of Abyss, and Rowan is gonna make clearing those stages really easy. But it's more for the whales, so that's why Rowan is in the whale level. For the free-to-play light spender, I think EX Weapon 5 for Rowan is more than enough, so that's why I put him in the whale category. Same thing for Tamasia, more for min-maxing of your Dream Realm damage. Good to have, but not a must if you don't have the resources for it. Okay, next one is Niru. So Niru is a very powerful unit with the EX weapon skill, and personally speaking, I'll say that this unit actually can be a very powerful PvP centric unit. He's very niche right now, and most of the people I see with Nero at EX10 or even EX15, they are your whale players, because this unit have a very specific lineup, a very specific niche that actually can utilize this unit skill. So they are mostly the whale players with it, so that's why I put him in the whale category, because the ultimate definitely has some potential, but it's not fully developed right now, and not a lot of people are using it, and the people that are using it, they are your whales. So I put Nero in the whale level category in terms of EX weapon priority. I'll say the next unit which I'll put in the EX weapon priority will be Granny. Maybe Granny could be either here or here. Yeah, okay, so Granny's case, right? Okay, I think Granny should be more so in the PvP side. Yeah, I'll talk about Granny later on. For whale level, I think that's that. That's that. I kind of want to put Scarletta. Yeah, Scarletta. I'll put Scarletta here as well. Scarletta is a game-changing unit. Can get her EX weapon up, she's insanely powerful. But the thing is, for I'll say like most general players, Reina is definitely the highest priority for Dream Realm purposes. So if you have to choose between the different Celestial / Shipojin unit, I will pick Reina for the general public, and then the rest depending on your spending power. Scarletta is probably the second highest priority, and if you have additional resources, then you invest in her, then you invest in her EX weapon, and then you can see her as the ultimate late game messiah. But the thing is, everything is built on top of resource efficiency. So I put her in the whale category. If you have the money to spend on her to get her EX weapon up, she's insanely good. But if not, don't bother. Or rather, you can build her up later on. So that's for Scarletta's case. I think that's pretty much it. Right? I'll change this category to whale level game changer. Okay? Because these units, they are, I'll say, quite game changing. But the thing is, it's not a must for most people. Right, not a must for most people. So I feel that it's not a must for the free-to-play or mid-low spender in general, because it costs quite a lot to upgrade the Celestial units. And then for these units, they're good to have for very niche reasons, and you kind of want to use them if you want to build those kind of setups, but they are not that crucial if you don't have additional resources. Okay, so next one, let's move on to the PvE side of things. So these units, I'll say they are really good to have if you do have their EX weapon up for PvE related content. So number one is Smokey. So Smokey is one of the best support in the game, right? If you do get an EX weapon, the ability to do damage from this unit is insanely good. So units, this unit can do damage against the boss as well for Primal Lord, for Dream Realm. So if you want more damage with Smokey, you want more damage against Primal Lord, you just want more damage from your healer, then Smokey's EX weapon is definitely a good to have as well. Do you need it at a higher level? Maybe not, depending on what's your priority. But if you do decide to upgrade Smokey in terms of the EX weapon, it's definitely more PvE centric in nature, because this unit is not good in the PvP side of things. The other thing for PvE centric is Cassidy. So Cassidy is one of the best damage dealer when you have her EX weapon up. You guys can try it for yourself. She's one of the best bossing unit with the amount of magic damage that she can output with her EX weapon up. So if you do decide to commit on Cassidy, she's not very good in the PvP side of things, but she's extremely good in certain bossing situations where you can use her, especially in the magical tip. So the other unit which you want to, no, actually no, Viperion is PvP centric. Yeah, the other unit which is PvE centric is Corin. So for Corin's case, right, I'll say this unit probably need at least EX weapon +5 for the level 2 of the skill, and mainly for Dream Realm purposes, because this unit is a meta unit in the Dream Realm side of things. That's why you want to upgrade him if you are more towards the PvE bossing Dream Realm contents. Same thing for Kruger, very Dream Realm centric. You kind of want to I'll say like put this unit in the priority if you want to get your good Dream Realm rewards, which is why I say like these units are also very close to the highest priority, because most of the good rewards, they are your PvE contents. So that's why I talked about it earlier, why these units could be better. The next one in terms of the PvE side of things, right, I will put, I think that's it. Yeah, these are the good units that are more PvE centric. Okay, so next we're gonna move on to the PvP centric characters. In general, these units, if you do invest in them for their EX weapon, these units are very very powerful in the PvP side of things if you do get their EX weapon up. So Danny is one of them. So this unit is the second best tank to Torrent. A good counter to the current Gravebond meta if your bracket has a lot of Gravebonds. So if you upgrade in the EX weapon, it's going to increase her sustainability as well as her ability to stay in the front line, making her a pretty decent EX weapon to upgrade for the PvP side of things. So the next one is Bryon. So Bryon is a very slept on unit because she's not recommended by a lot of content creators or even a lot of guides out there, because Bryon fundamentally is a more PvP centric character. But if you do upgrade the EX weapon, he is a crazy unit to have, because this unit's damage output with the EX weapon to keep him alive longer is crazy, right? Bryon's EX weapon upgrade his survivability more, but in a PvP meta where there's a lot of assassins and rogue running around, Bryon is this marksman that can stay alive for longer, bring down the snipers, and then do damage to the other units in the team. So since we are at the topic of snipers and assassins, Seth, our dear Sylvina, as well as Vala, and let's see. Yeah, so these three units, right, they are basically the PvP assassins. So the additional EX weapon boost on the stats as well as the skill upgrading to make them a little bit better in what they do is going to be crucial if you're somebody who's going to focus on PvP side of things. So there's actually a very annoying assassin team featuring Vala as well as Sylvina and then Barrel, because Sylvina can target a unit, Vala can also target a unit. So by doing this double targeting mechanic on the offense, you basically can snipe off any target you want to snipe off really quickly with this combo. So that's just one combo that you guys can do in the PvP side of things. The other one is Viperon. Personally, I think Viperon is a unit that's more powerful in the PvP side of things, although some people might be able to find some use for Viperon in the PvE side. But if you do decide to upgrade the EX weapon for this unit, it is purely for the PvP arena setting, because if not, I don't see why you will use him in Dream Realm. I also don't see people using him in Primal Lord, and for general contents you just have better units out there. So that's for Viperon's case. Heron is an excellent healer, and like a unit which I'll strongly recommend people to pull for her. But I'll say Heron can be in the highest priority as well. But then again, most of the time in the later stages, I'll say Heron sees more use for me in PvP than PvE. And I mean, surprisingly, because for the really hard content, I think Heron's heal is slightly slower, so I don't use her a lot there. Damien is a lot better there, so like I'm gonna be a bit biased and put Damien on top. But Heron is just a little bit too slow. But in PvP, I think she finds this correct pacing to get her ultimate off. So if you do upgrade her for her EX weapon skill, the damage reduction, I'll say mainly for PvP side of things, not so much so for PvE, because for PvE, most of the contents need you to do damage. So her being more defensive makes it such that she doesn't offer you the offensive power that you might need. Okay, so that's for Heron's case. Same thing for Igor. Actually, Igor can be PvE centric as well. But yeah, he's equally annoying. Okay, so the thing why I put Igor in PvP is because this unit is extremely annoying in arena. And you can definitely use him as a tank for the PvE side of things. But the thing about Igor is that I see more use of him in the PvP side than the PvE side, because for PvE, there's just a whole stack of units that are just a lot better than him. And talking about, I'll say, general PvE contents, namely Dream Realm, Primal Lord, as well as content pushing, I don't think you actually upgrade Igor to be built as a frontliner. It's more like, okay, it's good to have so that he's a little bit more annoying, but in an understated kind of condition, you actually don't use Igor in PvE anyway. So that's why if you do upgrade the EX weapon, it's more PvP centric by nature. So that's for Igor. Carolina, same thing. I think Carolina, okay, wait, Carolina is good for Battle Drill. Yeah, good for Battle Drill. Shakir, actually, Shakir is more PvE centric. Personally, I feel like Shakir is a good to have. Not the highest priority, but it's good to have. Okay, more PvE centric. So Shakir also has a specific boss which you use Shakir for, that is Snow Stomper. And on top of that, Shakir is actually a really good PvE unit in clearing harder contents, because this unit's EX weapon allows this unit to transform faster, which unlocks the full potential of Shakir, which is all the damage, immunity, all the aura, as well as all the good stuff that you want to have on him. So I would say more so for PvE. I think Shakir is in the middle of this two, but right now I do use Shakir for some of my PvE contents, because for the PvE side of things I don't run Shakir that much. But I guess if you do upgrade him, it's either for a very specific niche reasons. So not the highest priority, but definitely one good to have unit. Okay, so that's for Shakir's case. Yeah, that's that. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna move on to the last category. So the highest priority to get EX weapon category are basically units which you use a lot, or they just have amazingly game-changing ultimates that just warp the meta around them, and you want to focus on them if you do decide to, you know, focus on certain game modes, or just do a few game modes all at the same time. So Reina, Merrily, as well as OD, right? I'm gonna talk about these three first. So OD is one of the best content pushers if you do get an EX weapon, because of the insta-kill ability, and this unit's EX weapon is just game-changing, right? The pace where you push your content once you get the EX weapon is going to accelerate with this EX weapon, and in fact I will put OD as the highest priority, because if you want to push contents faster and then subsequently transit into other game modes, OD is just very versatile. Arena, he does it, right? PvE, this unit does it. Late game cheesing, this unit does it. Insta-kill is basically uber powerful, and that is why I'll say, like, in a similar fashion, Skalita is also very, very powerful. Any unit that just have the ability to insta-kill, ignoring whatever skill the unit might have to get damage immunity, is just insane. And for OD's case, you use him to push your AFK challenges, and he will be the highest priority of all units I'll recommend. Then the next two units, they will be more Dream Realm centric. They are actually Reina as well as Merrily. So Merrily is the best Dream Realm carry in the game. Every team uses her for meta damage, and Reina is the best support in that game mode. So these two units, you're going to use them every single day for Dream Realm, so they are also the highest priority to get EX. So these three units, they are the top 3 priority to EX. Then another unit that is commonly used and you want to get an EX is Torrent. So Torrent's EX weapon gives him the ability to protect an ally by absorbing a part of their damage while giving him 3 lives. So you need the 3 lives for King Croker specifically, and you use Torrent a lot in all the game modes, right? Pushing contents, doing Primal Lord, doing Arena, so upgrading his EX weapon is also good, one of the highest priority to get. Okay, so next one, Coco. So Coco's EX weapon is surprisingly game-changing, because the ability to gain additional shield to increase the longevity of your team, right, is gonna be game-changing. And with this unit being so potent in terms of Primal Lord, in terms of pushing contents, and in the future you will have more contents where the bosses do a lot of damage. So a unit which could provide damage reduction as well as convert the damage that your team does into a shield to keep your team alive longer is gonna mean that this unit is gonna stay for quite a while in terms of usage. So this unit is one of those units which I kind of like think that she has a lot of potential, and since you're already using her, I think it's also good to get her EX weapon up for general purposes, and you're going to use her a lot, right? So I put her in the highest priority. So the next 4 units, right, are units which are game changing, right, if you get their EX weapon. So this unit, they are good in PvP side of things and in the late game in terms of pushing all the extremely difficult contents. You use them. More specifically, Trial of Abyss, more specifically in contents where you cannot clear with the standard survive long enough and kill the enemy kind of approach. So they are basically Iron, Arden, Carolina, as well as Damien. Okay, so let's talk about Iron first. Iron is the greatest goat in the game because his EX weapon is insane. The ability to cast the ultimate immediately, the ability to reposition the enemy, the ability to debuff the enemy with the EX weapon up, as well as having him at a really high tier, makes this unit game changing both in the PvP side of things as well as the PvE side of things. You guys might think that I'm joking. How is Iron a PvE character? Yes, this unit doesn't do Dream Realm that well, but this unit is going to help you push through certain contents in the later part of the game. This ability to just use the ultimate at the start, right, triggering Star Shard spell, this ability to reposition all the enemy is just game changing, game warping. And this is why Iron as a unit, right, is also a very versatile unit. And that's why if you can, get his EX weapon up ASAP. +5 and +10, there's a big difference because +10 is increased duration for control. And that's going to be really helpful when you combine it with the next two units on the list. That is Arden and Carolina. Okay, so Carolina's DPS shoots up if you get her EX weapon up. And you use her in Battle Drill, you use her in really hard contents together with Iron, forming the Iron Carolina combo. So this combo is good both PvE wise and PvP wise. So you hear people talk about, oh Zeee, what is Carolina Iron combo? This is the Carolina Iron combo because both of them have insane control as well as damage, and Iron has the ability to just start the battle by controlling the enemy. And then if you throw in Arden into the mix, Arden's ability just gets like pushed to a whole new level once you unlock the EX weapon, because the ability to control all your enemies for, I mean, 2 of your enemies for 3 seconds at level 10 is insane. The ability to control your enemy for another 0.5 seconds with the second skill is even more insane, because on top of controlling them, you are also going to damage them. And the synergy that you get with Iron makes it such that this Arden Iron combo is something that I strongly push people to go for, because they are game changing. They have been helping me push through Trial of Abyss really easily, and I'll talk about Trial of Abyss in another video. So at the same time, you can call them the whale unit, but even for free-to-play players who do decide to invest in them, these 2 units or these 3 units together, they're just really good both in the PvP side of things as well as the PvE side in terms of doing or cheesing really hard contents. So I do put them in the higher priority, because if you get them, you are going to win more PvP matches and you're going to push through contents more easily as well. So that's why they are here. So the last unit is Damien. I think Damien is a little bit subjective. I think PvP centric or PvE centric, this unit does really well. So the reason why I put Damien there is because Damien has one of the most OP EX weapon skill in the game, which allows your team to get 55 haste on the first time he uses emergency support. 55 haste for all allies within the AoE, guys. It is one of the most powerful start of the battle EX skill out there. And the thing is, yeah, you don't have to upgrade it to EX15 for the 55 buff. You can just upgrade to EX10 for the 50 buff. But this will just make Damien an insanely good unit overall, right? Good for both PvE as well as PvP purposes, because like in Arena per se, Damien is one of the most used support, so you use him a lot there. And then Damien is a unit that you can use for some cheesing, right? You can use him for content pushing as well once you have him up. I'll say he can also be a whale's toy, because I think for free-to-play players, you won't prioritize upgrading him. But if you do get the EX weapon up, you guys will know what I mean by game changing. Like these 4 units, I'll say like the last 4 units on the highest priority list, they are there because their EX weapon are game changing. Their EX weapon are what makes them 0 to hero. And if you do upgrade them even as a free-to-play player, you guys will see the effect. So this is my tier list for the priority for EX weapon. So I'm going to include like a copy on screen so you guys can refer to. So this is the list where, let's say if you want to think about what units you want to focus on, basically go for the highest priority to get EX first if you are somebody who's free to play light spender. Then later on, let's say if you want to focus on PvP, then go for the units that are PvP centric, because you're going to play PvP more. So upgrade this unit and you can use them more in the PvP side of things. In general, I'll tell people to focus on the PvE side, because these units are good for Dream Realm, for bossing, which are generally where you get your free rewards from. So PvE and highest priority are the one that I recommend people to focus on, but depending on how you play, PvP centric is also good. Then if you spend a lot of money, you have all the resources in the world, then the whale level EX weapon priority units are the units you can go for in terms of powering their like stats, in terms of using these units, because these units are game changing, but it's just that I don't think they're the highest priority. They are good to have if you have the additional resources, which is the whale level in honest opinion. Okay, so okay to have and don't torture yourself. I think it's quite self-explanatory. So that's it for the priority. Next, let's talk about the +15, +10 priority list. Okay, so now moving on to the EX15, EX10, EX5 category. The category is on screen, right? I think it's quite self-explanatory. If I put the unit in plus 15, this unit are good units to push to plus 15 ASAP. Plus 10, I think plus 10 is enough for the units to shine. Plus 5, plus 8, depending on how you look at it, is enough for the units, depending on your resources. So whales are basically for the whales, right? Good to have EX weapons. So I'm just going to put the whales unit here. Okay, I'm just going to put the Celestial Hippogene here because they are just expensive, right? In order for you to even reach the plus 5, plus 10, and plus 15, you need to get them to Mythic Plus, which is gonna cost a lot anyway. So these units, like I mentioned earlier, they're game changing, but you do need to spend a little bit of resources on them. Okay, don't do it. I'm just gonna slot all the units which are in the Walker tier or just shitty units in general to just here, because like, yeah, don't do it. Like, they're not good. Don't bother to even try to upgrade them, because like they're not gonna benefit your account that much, and you're not going to use them. So putting your resources into them, I'll say, is quite I'll say like wasted. Like there isn't even any place where you can actually use them, right? So why even bother upgrading them? Okay, so next let's talk about the plus 5 side. So Brutus plus 5, Cetrana plus 5, Lucius plus 5 is good enough, Laika plus 5 is good enough. Oh wait, yeah, Valence here. Parisa plus 5, okay. Rowan plus 5 is okay. Plus 5 is enough. Vala is arguable, but I think in most cases, if you're using Vala as an arena unit, Vala plus 10 is better. But for me, because I use Vala more PvE wise, I don't use her as much in arena, so I keep her as plus 8. If you guys have seen the earlier part of the video. Then for Terminator, I think plus 5 plus 8 is good enough. Kruger plus 5 plus 8 is good enough for Dream Realm, but if you want to min-max, then go to plus 10. Yeah, but don't go for the plus 15 for Kruger. Same thing for Corin, right? Good to have. Niru also. Niru only need the first part of the skill, and then getting it to plus 5 to get the second line is good enough. Shishir as well. Satrana as well. Plus 5 plus 8. Smokey plus 5 plus 8. Yeah, because anything more is just more stats for more damage. I think Cassidy is a plus 10 worthy though. Yeah, Cassidy is plus 10. Danny is a plus 5 plus 8 because you have better units out there to increase the tier. So yes, she can be very good in the PvP side. I think plus 5 plus 8 is enough for her. You rather increase her tier more than her EX weapon. Yeah, Igor as well. Yeah, Igor as well. And then Rice. And yeah, I think that's for the plus 5 plus 8s. So these units, I'll say like their EX weapon is okay to have or good to have, but you don't need the EX weapon at a very high tier, because the additional stats boost or the additional skill that the EX weapon offer is not that much more impactful. So plus 5 plus 8 for this unit is more than enough. So next, let's talk about the plus 10 category. So plus 10 Viperium, Vala, Bryon, I'll put all the PvP unit first. So this one as well as this one. Yeah, Heron. Okay, so these are the strong PvP units where their skills are very, very impactful at EX10. So Heron's skill to actually cast Revitalize is insanely good. And like, it's something that people often laughed at. But I don't think you need to actually put her to plus 15, because the increase in damage reduction is not that much better, unless you are min-maxing your team. So plus 10 is good enough for her. For Vala's case, same thing. But for Vala's case, some people might argue you want to put her in plus 15, because this unit benefit a lot from the stats boost. So plus 10, plus 15, right? But for myself, I put her in plus 10 because I think the plus 10 skill is strong enough as a sniper. And since I don't use her a lot, I prefer to put her in the plus 10 category. So Vala is arguable, but plus 10 would be the way I put. Same thing for Viperion. So Viperion plus 10, plus 15, the additional stats help. Most of the time having additional stats help, but I think in terms of how impactful the plus 5 to plus 10 category is, I think Viperion is not that crucial. Same thing for Bryon, same thing for Seth. Like, I feel that their plus 15 skill is not as impactful, or you just simply don't use them a lot for them to get the plus 15 stats, right? Same thing for Reyna, right? Reina, anything beyond plus 10 is useless. So you need the plus 10 for the damage reduction for your carry so that your carry can survive longer, and then you just need the damage boost. So that's why plus 10 is more than enough for Reina. You don't need additional stats on him. For Iron, same thing. Yeah, Iron, I think Iron would benefit from the stats, but the thing is, I think Iron at plus 10 is more than enough because you just need the EX10 skill for control and the combo setting. Same thing for Carolina, same thing for Arden. I don't think you need plus 15 specifically because I don't think the EX15 skill is gonna be ultra impactful unless you are wailing or unless you are min-maxing, and them at EX10 is already strong enough, at least 80-90% of their power. Same thing for Torrent. I think Torrent is plus 10 is more than enough. Okay, it doesn't really like impact them by a crazy amount, by the way. Same thing for Damien. I think Damien plus 10 is more than enough. I don't think the 5 additional stats is gonna matter too much. I think getting the EX weapon is important, but getting to plus 15 is a min-max thing. So I get him to plus 15 because I use him a lot in PvE setting to min-max and stuff, and I use him for PvP as well. But if you ask me whether or not it's worth it to get to plus 15, maybe not so much, because the haste is only a one-time thing on the first use of emergency support, and then additional stats on him is, I'll say, good to have but not a must-have, and then the additional stats is only 5 haste from EX10 anyway, so that's why the Damien at plus 10. Same thing for Coco. You only need the third line. I don't think you need the fourth line for Coco as a support, so plus 10 is more than good enough. Same thing for Cassidy, not like the highest priority, right? Plus 15 priority, I'll say these 3. Okay, so why these 3? Okay, maybe Iron. Okay, so if you use this unit a lot, I think plus 15 priority. So OD, most used unit, right? Use in Dream Realm, use in PvE, very, I'll say like long-term investment, and this unit is going to continue seeing use as long as you find a way to abuse his insta-kill mechanic, and the ability to increase the insta-kill threshold up while boosting his attack so that you insta-kill more easily make this unit an invaluable one to push to plus 15 ASAP. So for Marilee's case, it's more so for the min-maxing, but min-maxing on Dream Realm, because additional attack stat might not sound a lot on paper, but if you're somebody who is in a competitive server that requires you to keep your unit at a very high tier for max damage, Marilee's EX weapon is gonna be a must, because that 1% increase might not sound a lot, but you get 6% when you get the stacked up to max stack, so I'll say pretty important. Then for Shakir's case, why I put him in the plus 15 if you can, I think Shakir and Iron, I'll say I put them there because they are good to have at plus 15. Iron is basically the most used combo enabler. Like, I think right now in the game, all sort of combo is built around Iron. So putting him to plus 15 means that you're going to use him for a really long time anyway. So that's why I put him there. Okay. For Shakir's case, I think Shakir's EX15 is more game-changing than anything else, because the ability to just transform into the wolf form faster at 700 energy makes this unit an insanely powerful unit as a whole. So that's why Shakir is here. Is it, I'll say, completely unbiased? Maybe not, because I do think that Iron and Shakir is more personal bias than anything else. Some people might argue why not put Vala there, because the additional stat is going to be beneficial to her, but I don't use Vala a lot, so I'm just going to put her in a plus 10 category. In fact, I think most units can actually function at plus 10. Plus 15 should only go to units which you use a lot, or you feel that their game changing by nature and you really like their design and you use them in a lot of combos anyway. Then plus 15 is go-to, right? Anything beyond that is just additional stats. So from plus 16 to plus 25 is additional 2.5 stat across the board. Just invest based on your personal needs, personal like usage, right? Some units you use more, then you just upgrade them to plus 20, plus 25 accordingly. And that's it for this video. Hopefully this EX weapon guide is comprehensive and helpful in deciding which EX weapon that you guys should go for. And hopefully you guys like this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more, and I'll see you guys again in my next AFK journey video. Bye guys.